Michael Levine is joining me right now, and he is one of the best PR people in the country, and he has been involved in this business for a very long time. His most recent book is Broken Windows, Broken Business, and he also wrote the book Guerrilla PR. And Michael, today is Super Tuesday, and it's a day when there's primaries. There's primaries out in California. There's primaries in a number of other states. Nikki Haley has gone back to South Carolina. She has no ads after today, and she doesn't have a schedule. All the other primary nights, we knew where she was going later on. If you were advising her, what would you tell her?
Well, first, let me make a quick note to something you said earlier, Martha, because I so often agree with you, but I do want to make a note maybe of difference. You said earlier on this invasion that whoever thought it was a good idea was not thinking clearly. And I would like to encourage you to consider this. It was a great idea. It was a fantastic idea for people who had an agenda to stay in power and to screw up this country. If your agenda was to recreate this country in a way that's almost make it virtually unrecognizable, it was a fabulous idea. If you believe that in allowing people to invade this country because it will help you politically and your party through a process of pandering and chaos, it was a fantastic idea. So there you go. Now, was it a moral idea? No, it was repugnant. It is, if it's not treason, it certainly borders on it. It is, it will be recorded by historians as one of the most calamitous episodes in American history. And the full ramifications of it, I do not believe, will be known in a day, a week, a month, or a year. 10 years from now, we will be paying off. If we began to correct it today, which of course we're not, for 10 years or more, we'll be paying off the debt of this insanity. So that is that. Now, as Nikki Haley, first of all, I want to acknowledge that I have a bias, Martha. I like Nikki Haley.
Me too.
I believe that she's done a very honorable job both for this nation, for her party. So I have a bias, and I want to freely admit that. However, the question becomes, after today, what should she do? And the answer is that if there is no path forward, absent Donald Trump, dying tragically in some way, if there is no path forward, I would encourage her to end her campaign. If, on the other hand, she can see a way, even not a way of winning, but a way of remaining a viable voice so that her messages about a new generation of leadership can be heard, there is great nobility occasionally in losing with a moral and strong message. This idea of rerunning Biden versus Trump is a symbol of a nation that is frankly not serious about regaining footing as one of the great country of the world. If this is, of the 330 million Americans, if this is the best we can do, Joseph Biden, Kamala Harris, Donald J. Trump, if this is the opinion of this nation, this is it. This is our dream team. then frankly we are going to get the fate we deserve, in my opinion. And it's tragic because I love this country.
In a way, America, and I used to fight against this when I was a buyer, because when I was a buyer for Riches years ago, they always said, California is the bellwether for fashion in America. Okay. And I always pushed back against that, but it turned out to be true. But in politics, they sort of say the same thing, that California is sort of the bellwether, what's going to happen 10, 15, 20 years down the road in America. And California, as you know, and my husband's family moved there in the 70s and 80s and had the most amazing life they ever had during that period of time.
Sure.
But California was this place that you could go, and whether you were middle... Golden. It was the Golden State.
It was if you had entered the gates of heaven. It was golden. Yep. And it is now all ruined. All ruined.
And I would argue that it was ruined by liberal politics, because...
It was. There's no need... There's no need to make the statement with some degree of tentativeness. Who ruined it? I mean, if one party, by the way, I'm a political independent. I'm not a Republican. But if one party presided over an entity, whether it be a sports team, a organization, anything, and dominated it completely and totally for 10 years or more, and the place went from paradise to Dante's Inferno, who would we possibly blame but the team and the mindset that animates this team? I mean, the governor of California, Martha, believes that giving free health care to illegal aliens paid for by the tax-paying citizens of the state of California, when the state is in billions of dollars of deficit, is a good idea. Now, the only people that could rationally believe that's a good idea are people in an insane asylum. And yet they do it, and people vote for it.
And people are leaving in droves from California for the first time in its history.
And listen here, and that's important. Ask yourself this question. Last year, 800,000 people left California. That's almost a million, not quite a million. Okay, fine. Now, we ask a question. Of the 800,000 people who left California, would you say, I know one doesn't know exactly, but would you say that largely the people who are leaving are producers or non-producers?
Producers.
Producers. And the non-producers stay, right? So if you have 800,000 people leaving in 1 year. Now, you do that over a 10-year period. That's 8 million people, right? Nothing that will happen, but it could. And 80% of the people leaving are producers. 20%, and the non-producers are staying. What? This is a pass-fail question on an IQ test. What is it? Is as if a civilization.
So are you moving? Are you moving?
Suicide.
Are you moving to Texas or Florida?
Very good question, and grapple with it a great deal. The reality is that the only thing I have keeping me here in California, right, which I freely admit comfortably, the state I chose is now a disaster. The only thing keeping me here is my work.
Yep.
And since work is terribly defining for me, I am going to grapple with whether or not I can leave. And over time, I may well make the choice that many, 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 many people are making. So I don't know yet, but
well,
that's
and for
keeping
the
me
people,
here. If it weren't for my work, I would have left 5 years ago.
That's right. Michael Levine, I love you, and I look forward to talking with you in a couple of weeks. Talk to you later.